Lazy D here. Today I'm working on this Kubota RTV900XT. I got this from the customer. He said it wasn't shifting properly, almost like it got stuck between two gears. He found a YouTube video that was going to guide him through the repairs, and he could not finish the job. So I've gotten it here. It currently won't start, and I have some parts on the seat, so I'm going to see if I can get it started and try to get the bed up. This is a hydraulically actuated bed, so it might be a little bit of a chore to get it up so I can get access to the top of the transmission where this shifter piece goes. This is the shift mechanism, goes on the top of the transmission that the customer has removed. It doesn't look damaged, so I just need to get access and see what's going on in the actual top of the transmission. I'll be able to access. Trying to start this right now. Turning the key, I get nothing. So, hooked up my voltmeter to the battery. It was stable around 6, and I tried to start it, went down to 4. It's coming back up now. So I'm gonna stick my battery charger on this and see if I can at least get this started one time. The battery's been dead long enough, I'm probably gonna have to replace it at this point. Got my battery charger hooked up on the high setting. Let's see what happens here. Nothing. This could have to do with maybe the neutral safety switch not being engaged. I definitely hear some more clicking from the engine now. I'm getting some lights on the dash, so I may let it charge for a few and try again. I've charged this thing for a while. It still wouldn't start with the battery presumably charged, or with the charge on it. I would think it should at least crank by now. So what I did to get by this neutral safety switch, there's a couple ways you can do this, but I was able to reach back in here and jump across a switch, so now the switch position would be closed, or at least the starting system would think it is, so the starter will engage. So if you're gonna do something like this, do it safely. Obviously you're jumping across a circuit that's supposed to protect you from the vehicle moving when you start, so know when you crank. You know, like I look at mine, I got our barn behind us, and then in front of us I got space. I can drive it. I'm definitely going to sit in the driver's seat when I do this, in case it does take off. I'm ready to steer or something, and maybe even put the parking brake on. So this should work now. Now it's cranking. Oh, maybe I didn't hold the glow plug long enough, or I didn't at all. Awesome, now I got this started. Should be able to lift the bed up. Oh yeah. So now you can see a little bit better where I jump this switch, so I can do that. You could also take the switch out of the shifter mechanism and manually push the button if you wanted to. So now I'm looking inside. It's a little dirty. Definitely some stuff has gotten in here. I see some grit down in there, but at least they put a rag. And the bolts are here, which is good, and the gasket's here, but it's broken, so I'll probably put a little silicone on that. I'm gonna do a test fit first, try to get everything back in here together. These look like they're lined up to me right now. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research and just trial and error here. So I've cleaned out these pieces a little bit. I wish this person would have cleaned off everything a little bit better, but that's pretty typical. We're gonna see if someone worked on a unit before you got to it. So I cleaned it up as best I could. I'm gonna reinstall everything and just start from scratch, because if I can't confirm the issue, I can't really make a repair. So maybe it'll work fine. Maybe they already realigned these, but in some of the videos I've seen where this is not working correctly, one of these shift arms will be offset from the other one. So it looks like they're in a good neutral position. If you needed to move these to line them up, you could probably rock the vehicle back and forth a little bit and use like a screwdriver or a pry bar on one side or the other of these pretty gently. There's probably like a detent or something though, so a little forceful. So this is the direction our shift housing is going to go in here. Underneath, you need to make sure when this goes in if this arm is in between this fork and it stays there during the install, and that the end of this ball should land in here somewhere in that notch in the shift forks. So I had to kind of hold this over as I set it down to hold that in place, but it feels like it's has a normal range of motion now. So I'm gonna snug this cover down and then put my shift linkages back on and just try it. So it looks like this shift linkage, the ball joint section of it is a 10, and the little nylock nut is an 8mm. It looks like the other one is both 10s. Okay, so now I'm just going to use the shifter on the dash and see if I have good range of motion before I try turning this on. It seems like it hits all the spots it should for each gear. So I'm going to go ahead and test drive this thing and see if that fixed it. And if it did, I'm going to take this back apart and reseal everything to make sure I don't have an oil leak when I'm done, and see if this customer wants to go ahead and do a service on this as well while I have it. So like I said, I have good range of motion now through all these gears. Low, I have to wiggle a little bit in here, but yeah, feels pretty normal. It's going to all the positions. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this thing. Feels like high works, medium works, low works. Yeah, it feels like all the gears work. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little more thorough test drive and go from there. Just finished my test drive. Everything felt pretty good, and then I tried to turn around. You can see in the time lapse, I backed uphill and tried to shift from reverse back to forward, and it was stuck in reverse. So I'm thinking it's likely that this problem first occurred when someone did that, maybe on an incline, decline, tried to shift gears. It gets really tough to pull on the lever, and I think if you really force it, you could probably get something out of place. What I did was rock back and forth using my body weight to try to relieve some of the tension on the gears momentarily while I was on the hillside, and wiggle around the shifter, not too hard, but pretty forcefully, and get it to pop back into the forward gears, then get off the hill. And it feels fine on a level surface shifting. I'm going to look a little bit more into this, but it may be just the conditions of driving it like that. And I'm going to look a little more into if other people have experienced a similar issue and have found worn components. Otherwise, it just kind of maybe normal operation of this machine. Let me know in the comments if you have a machine like this and you're experiencing the same things and when it's happening. Maybe we can find a overall fix for this